What is your initial reaction from this?
I was not expecting this, but in some ways I wasn't surprised, in part just because the tenure that how long both of them had been there. Separately is this concept that the company is moving into a different chapter. And the Google proper is the next chapter is going to be, I think, a lot around policy and data privacy and regulation. And if you think about the founders and what they've accomplished and what the next couple of years would look like, testifying, for example, and going through some of the minutia of that, I'm not surprised to ultimately see this. It is there's another part of me that's just kind of sad because they've had such a profound impact on our lives, and just a reminder that even the greats move on.
And Gene, how much of this really can be seen as a vote of confidence in Sundar Pichai?
I mean, undoubtedly a vote of confidence. I think it's more related to what Sergey and Larry ultimately want to do than it is about a vote of confidence. But it is a vote of confidence nonetheless. If they didn't have that, then he would not be the one tapped for the broader role.
You know, Alistair, we talked a few weeks ago when you had Apple's CEO Tim Cook really work the politics, if you will. In this day and age, you're not just running a company. You really have to be working the politics, working with the regulatory issues. Is Sundar Pichai ready and able to do that?
I think he is very, very able from a technology point of view. So if someone asks Sundar Pichai a super complicated question about what data Google uses, how is it used, how is it controlled, how is it protected, he will know all that stuff. And he was partly behind building a lot of that stuff, especially on the web side. So technically, he's great. On the showing up for a congressional hearing, that's not something that I don't think really loves to do. And he's quite a quiet person and a thoughtful person, and I don't think he enjoys being asked things live when the whole world is watching, in a sort of contentious situation. But he can certainly do it. And when you compare it to Larry Page, who really does not want to do any of that stuff, that's really the comparison to make here. Because earlier this year, as scrutiny really ramped up on Google, Larry Page, everyone said, well, where's Larry? And I think this decision today kind of partly addresses that, which is, well, Larry doesn't have to be there anymore. He's not the CEO of Alphabet.
Gene, as you take a look at the company now, he's running both Google and Alphabet. What could be some of the challenges now of running both of those while the other two are now just on the board, but still controlling most of the shares?
Well, the obvious challenge is the one that we've covered pretty well here, is around policy. I think beyond that, it is going to be how much oxygen to give the other bets. And this is, as we think about what has changed in kind of late stage investing over the last 6 months with WeWork and Uber and Lyft, and some of the path to profitability questions. Even corporate sponsors of these are asking more difficult questions. And so that, to me, would be kind of the critical. I would love to be in a room and hear the conversation related to how much to give how much funding to give some of these other bets. Do you think specifically the easy one to talk about is Waymo, and that is a radical view to autonomy. Is basically launching an entirely wrapped up and tidy product, very different than Tesla's kind of evolutionary approach. This is revolutionary, and a huge amount of spending that would have to be behind that. So that, to me, would be kind of one of the key issues, and more broadly, just how they want to continue to foster other bets in that 20% other time that Google has been a foundation of working at Google.
And Gene, finally here, do you think this can be seen as a good thing, bringing this under one person, bringing both companies together, having him run both divisions, really trying to simplify under the big umbrella?
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, Google is definitely the powerhouse of the portfolio of companies, and so that makes a ton of sense. I wouldn't be surprised if in the next year or two Sundar stays at the top and there's new leadership that's brought in for Google.